When an accident happens involving a bus of any kind, it makes news. Just last week, it was the tragic school bus accident in Chattanooga. Richard Griffin of the Griffin Law Firm joins us now to talk about the financial repercussions for those families. But let's start off, let's remind them what happened.
Right. It was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was about a week ago. And it was on a clear day, a sunny day, a school bus full of children was being driven, and the bus driver apparently drove somewhat erratically, was driving too fast, and the bus ended up turning over, and it went into a telephone pole and a tree. This is a picture of a bus accident, not that one, but a similar type situation. So it was a horrible, horrible thing, and 6 of those students died, and 12 had serious, serious injuries, spinal injuries, brain injuries. You know, this is a situation where this tragedy is going to destroy and just be difficult for families to recover from for the rest of their life.
Yeah, and the trauma for the ones who weren't injured at all.
Right.
All right, you're obviously a Georgia attorney,
right.
But what kind of claims will come out of this accident, do you think?
That is exactly right. We're going to talk about today the facts of this case, and I'm going to talk about it in terms of Georgia law. So there are plenty of times, we've handled a lot of bus accident cases that have been MARTA or school buses and that kind of thing. But what you have is a situation where the driver is, of course, going to have criminal problems for the reckless driving. It's going to have potential liability for a lawsuit. Here's a graphic that shows the bus driver, of course, the negligent driving, the reckless driving. There's going to be personal injury and wrongful death lawsuits that can be pursued against that driver. The bus company also is going to have exposure. They are not only responsible for the driver, in this particular case, it was a private company, they're also for negligently hiring him. It turns out he has a history, and I know there was in his past, even 2 months before this, he had had a minor accident with the bus. So negligent hiring or negligent retention, meaning they keep that bus driver when they should have let him go. In this situation, unlike Georgia, where Georgia public schools are normally, it's all county or city, this school hired out this company, but they could have exposure as well, at least in Georgia, for hiring a company that has a history, if they do, of reckless driving with these buses. The principal in that case, and apparently from what I'd read, had some situations where parents had complained and said, hey, we don't like the speed, we don't like the way this driver's driving, our kids are saying they're scared. And that principal, I think what I read is said, well, you know, he's not my employee, I can't do anything about it. Well, a principal can certainly do something about it. They can say that bus driver to the company, you need to send someone else or we're going to get a different company. So there could be exposure in that situation if it was in Georgia for the school, for the principal, for the bus company, and for the bus driver.
That's plenty of culpability.
Yes, and for these type of situations where you have wrongful deaths and you have catastrophic injuries, that is, you know, you're going to need all the available insurance possible to try to make these families whole, which, you know, nothing will financially. But you do have a situation where the insurance companies can come into play for the driver if he has his own insurance, the bus company, the city, and then any of the students if the parents have uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. Even that could be additional places of recovery.
Is there any takeaway for our viewers today who might be watching this?
There are. I mean, it is so complicated. You know, bus accidents and commercial truck accidents, these things are very, very complicated, and it's so important to get help right from the beginning. The investigation that needs to take place to really find out exactly what happened. There are a lot of things in the newspaper about what happened, but you know, if we were involved in it, we're going to try to get recorded statements from every witness. There's also short deadlines there. If any claim against a city has an anti litem requirement where you have to give them written notice of the personal injury claim or the wrongful death claim within 6 months in Georgia. And also if it's against a county, then it's a year in Georgia. If they don't get that notice, then you don't have any recovery against them. For the state, it's a year. So calling 877-PAIN-LAW if you've been involved in any kind of auto accident is the right thing to do, so we can get started and make sure we investigate it and protect you.
Time always of the essence, and our thoughts and prayers are still with those families in Chattanooga. Thank you, Richard. Don't forget to get the help you need. Contact the Griffin Law Firm. Call 877-PAIN-LAW. You can also log on to 877painlaw.com.